My brothers and sisters, my friends, my fans, and all my listeners. Once again, we privileged, and once again, we get a minute to share and receive information. I woke up feeling depressed, down and out, and I know it's been a minute since I chopped it up with y'all and got on live, but I felt the need to do that today because I don't know what to feel. To be honest with you, I don't know what to feel. I'm feeling all kind of sorts of things, but I don't know which one I need to be standing on. Because if you've been standing on a cause, if you've been supporting a cause, if you've been believing in something that's been taught to you, if you've been believing in something that you grew up with, something that's been embedded in you, and you believed it, something you've been defending, something you've even been celebrating. Then after 30 or 40 years of defending and fighting and standing on this cause, you come to find out it was all just a setup. A setup, a scandal. You've been infiltrated. You've been played out. In fact, none of it's real. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? It's not an easy task. I need advice. That's the similitude of having a friend for over 40 years. 40 years you knew this person. Y'all went to school, you grew up together, you had parties, your family knew his family, and all sorts of things. 40 years go by. And then you find out that your friend that you knew for over 40 years is a weirdo. You got to crash out. You want to crash out now. 40 years, weirdo? Oh, hell no! You should have never did that. Never, 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 never. That is the similitude of you meeting a nice young lady. Y'all go out on a date, you splurge. You go on a couple of dates and you start getting some feelings for this lady. You think she's the wonderfulest thing in the world. Then you find out it was a man. What the hell? What the hell? Betrayal. How do you deal with betrayal? I need advice because I'm about to crash out. Because we keep on falling for the okie doke. How do you deal with being sold out? How do you deal with being set up? How do you deal with being fooled by something or someone you believed in all your life? Something and someone that you grew up being taught the history. You grew up believing and celebrating, standing on. The names have been embedded in your mind. Then you come to find out it was all a setup. Somebody better tell me how to deal with this. 'Cause I'm about to crash out. Betrayed. It's not a very good feeling. It's not a very good feeling when you've been standing on something and believing in something and being taught something. And then you come to find out it's not true. None of it's true. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled. What do you do? How do you deal with that? That's just on a personal level. I'm talking about This is just on a one-on-one basis. Someone betraying you, selling you out. But how do you deal with a situation when it's dealt with a cultural betrayal? That's a whole nother thing. When we're talking about a cultural betrayal, when you betray a whole culture, now that's a whole different story. I mean, one-on-one, I get it. But when you betray your own culture, the whole culture, the entire community and culture, that's just a little bit different level of betrayal. So I woke up feeling betrayed today, after yesterday. I woke up feeling sold out after yesterday. I woke up feeling like I was made a fool of. And I don't personally like no one attempting to try to make a fool out of me. But I felt that's what's happened. I felt like I, along with all of you, have actually been played out. Get that. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. I know you want to know where I'm going. Well, let me get right down to it, okay? The indoctrination and the misrepresentation of the legacy, of the history, and of the intentions of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has been revealed, has crippled the Black community. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. movement has crippled the Black community into accepting false indoctrinations. Lies, garbage, and trash. When we went down that road to vote, it was all a setup. Now, we didn't know that years ago, but today it's being revealed and it's being confirmed. It was all false. It was all a setup. It was all a lie. Voting has been the worst thing that has ever happened to the Black culture. Hear me now. This is what kept Black Americans from reaching that mountaintop. Oh, yes, it did. You see, people kept on speaking the same words. And these are the words that kept you trapped in that spell. You was putting a spell on your own self by the words you was speaking out of your mouth. You didn't even realize it. You've been holding yourselves back because you kept repeating those words. I have a dream. Every time you said that, you put yourself back in the spell, and that's all it remained was a dream. You didn't make the dream manifest. It only stayed in a state of dreaming. And you kept repeating those words. You kept saying it out loud. You kept playing the speeches. You kept playing it at congregation meetings. You kept playing it in school auditoriums. You kept playing it on the radio. You kept playing it over and over and over in your mind. I have a dream. And so that's all it remained was a dream. Damn. The truth is, Dr. King did more damage to the Black community? No. Culture Dr. King did more damage to the black culture than good. Because voting did nothing for the black community. In fact, no good at all came out of that movement. If it has, prove me wrong. Fact check it. Show me some good that came from people who are fighting for civil rights that benefited them. We was already doing business with the government, the black community, as well as the Jewish community. We were already doing business with the government, making deals, way before anybody got involved with that voting stuff. The community was straight on their business with the government. We was getting grants. We was getting direct payments. We was like, put the money in my hand and I'll handle my community. And that's what happened. We was handling our own business. We was dealing with grants. We was having conversations and doing business and negotiations and having direct deposits, checks written out directly. And we was good with that. The Islamic community, I remember, they was even able to buy buses and school buses and taxi cabs, and they was doing all kind of stuff with their grants and the negotiations and the business deals that they already had before Martin came along and migrated us toward voting. Damn, Martin. I know some people may say, you gotta do what you gotta do, but no, you don't got to sell out your whole culture. Just take me, just off with my head, okay? Get me up out of this equation. I don't want no parts of selling out my people. Misguiding them, leading them the wrong way. I can't do it, man. Just take me out, because it ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna have your blood on my hands. I'm not gonna have a culture of people's blood on my hands, on my legacy, on my track record. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And all that did by us being migrated toward voting by Dr. King is create more Democrats. That's all it did. It created more Democrats, and now the Democrats outweighed the Republicans. Oh, hell no! Was this a setup or was this a setup? I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that. A lot of people don't even know these things. A lot of people are stuck on tradition, fabrication, and the lies of the past. I understand some people are still in that spell. I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. Trapped. The Negro American became trapped in the voting system. That's all it did, was trap us in. And the system that we was trapped in never ever catered to the concerns of the black community at all. What we was concerned about wasn't on their priority list. Let's just say it like that. It was a trap that stripped blacks of their independence, free thinking, free ability to build in their own community. This is what it was all about. Snatch away your bargaining ability. Snatch away your negotiations. Interrupt your business. Put you on a bandwagon. Bring you from independence to dependence. I mean, damn. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm making a mistake, if I got it twisted, pull my file. Let me know. Update me. Fact check this shit. Because I did. And this is what I came up with. So thank you very much, Dr. King. Oh, yeah. A lot of us don't even understand the Reconstruction, The Reconstruction Amendments, that was the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments. The 13th Amendment being the abolishment of slavery, the 14th Amendment being citizenship, and the 15th Amendment being the right to vote. The Reconstruction Amendments. Now, these amendments, they were crucial for establishing civil rights for African Americans. They were crucial. This movement was crucial. Even though it still was faced with a significant amount of what we call challenges, people didn't want to accept it. It wasn't even fully recognized even when it became law. People was like, we ain't listening to that. So the struggle still continued. After the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were established, the struggle still continued. It wasn't over. People didn't even respect it or listen to it or abide by it. Okay? They didn't give a damn about that. So the struggle continued even after that. But Democrats, they was upset, man. They were utterly upset because it was the Republican Party. Don't get it twisted. Not the Democratic Party. It was the Republican Party who voted in favor of blacks. It was the Republican Party who voted to abolish slavery. It was the Republican Party who voted to give blacks citizenship. And it was the Republican Party who voted to allow blacks to vote. Damn. President Johnson, he was so pissed off. Look this up. It's written down, it's documented. Well, a lot of y'all don't read. And I guess it's true what they say. If you want to hide something from a Negro, put it in a book. Well, if it's not true, then pick that book up and do your own damn research. President Johnson was pissed back at that time. After that, he said, you know what? I'm going to have those niggas voting for Democrat for the next 200 years. That's what I'm going to do. They going to be voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And he almost did it to y'all. He almost had y'all. They almost had you. If it wasn't for the magnificence of the Most High, if thee hadn't come intervened and inspired the funk to wake up these sleeping Negroes, you would have still been asleep. You don't even know when a blessing smacks you in your face because you too busy looking at it through your eyes. And the eyes lie. Know this. So now they was pissed off. They came up with a plan. And you know what their plan was? Government programs. Government programs. That was the plan. Make them think we're giving them something. Make them believe we care about them. And give them free housing. Yes. Let's give them free health care. Oh, yeah. Let's give them free food stamps. And let's give them free miseducation. Give it to them for free. They gave you a bunch of free stuff under the worst conditions. Under the worst conditions. I mean, you don't even want this stuff under the conditions that they're giving you to you. They gave you a bunch of free stuff under the worst conditions and made you content with being bottom feeders. feeders. Bottom feeders. And you love it. You love the free stuff. And you've adapted to the conditions that you have to live in to get it. To you, home sweet home. They gave you free housing in the worst communities. They gave you free health care with the worst genetic prescriptions and medications for you. Yes, they did. The worst. You didn't get no name brand. You got generic. You got fake. You got chalk crushed up, then reshaped into a form of a Tylenol. That's what they did to you. They gave you food stamps. And now you got the worst nutrition and health. The worst. They gave you food stamps. They gave you now the worst health conditions. You don't even know how to give yourself the proper nutrition because you never was taught that. Then they gave you education, which was the worst indoctrination you could ever get, because that brings us right back to here where we are today. The betrayal, the sellout, the crossover, the foolery, the setup. That's where we at today. We've been set up. So really, what good did it do? Blacks were already hated. Blacks were already segregated, separated, because they were black. Now here you come, insulting that hate group by entitling blacks to have the same voting rights, the same citizenship, and the same freedoms. White Americans was pissed off. You just rubbed it in your face. We already hate these Negroes. Now you putting them next to me, making them equal to me? Oh, hell no! It did no good. It made things worse. How could this be better than what we already had? We had grants, we had deals, we had negotiations already with the government. How could this be better? We already was doing business. We already was getting direct payments. How was this better? How was this better? I don't get it. All it did for me, in my opinion, is throw wood in the fire. That's all it did. I mean, all you got to do is ask yourselves, what have the Democrats brought to the table? Okay? Don't look at me. Don't judge what I'm saying. Just ask yourself, what have the Democrats brought to the table? Let me think. Let me name a couple of few things that the Democrats have brought to the table. Jim Crow. Jim Crow was a Democrat. Yeah. So they brought Jim Crow to the table. They brought, how could I forget this one? They brought the KKK, Ku Klux Klan, to the table. Oh, you didn't know the Ku Klux Klan were Democrats? You better pick that book up. Y'all got some reading to do. Y'all got some researching to really understand. Y'all don't know about lynching and butt breaking and all that house nigga, Uncle Tom nigga. And then after all of that, you know what they brought? This is what the Democrats brought to you. Barack Obama. They brought you Barack Obama. So let me ask you something. What has Barack Obama, who's a Democrat who you've been voting for quite some time now, what has he done for Black Americans in America? I don't hear you. No. Facts. State what the man has done to uplift your condition that we can see. That's all I want to know. I know he brought in LGBTQ. I know that. I know that now we got men inside women's bathroom. We got men who identify themselves as females fighting in female sports and winning, dominating the female sports, even though their birth sex has been male. We know that. We know that we have our tax dollars are now paying for operations for prisoners who want to have sex change and transgender themselves. And that's being paid for by our tax dollars. We know that. We know that young boys are being emasculated. I mean, look at the Wayne Wade situation. I mean, he transformed his son into his daughter. I mean, this is the type of philosophy, morality, spirituality. This is where we at today. This is where we at today. Children are sacrificed, kidnapped, trafficked. It's mutilated. It's crazy. I mean, even back in the days, right? No pun intended, but the Nation of Islam wasn't even rocking with Dr. King. That should show you something right there. Why couldn't they come together if they were all for the same cause? If it always going to benefit us the same way, why didn't they come together? Because they already foresaw today. They knew back then, if they moved in that way, we would be facing a situation that we're facing today. Oh yeah. You got immigrants flooding and crossing over the border now. You got immigrants who now have become governors over one of your major states. Yes. Someone from a whole nother place with a whole nother background, a whole nother philosophy, a whole nother culture, a whole nother spiritual connection is now the governor of one of your major states. How has that ever happened? I mean, this brother doesn't even practice Christianity in America, but he's the governor of one of your major states. Something to think about. You got these bishops and these preachers now. They've been condoning this sinful behavior. They've been condoning it, copying it, getting down with it, supporting it. And these is just the behaviors of those who came before them. I mean, like they say, shit rolls downhill. Shit rolls downhill. And it's been rolling downhill from Dr. King to Bishop Eddie Long to T.D. Jakes to Kirk Franklin, Jamal Bryant. Oh, it's a shitty hill right there. It's a shitty hill. A lot of shit has rolled down that hill. Oh, yes, it has. I'm talking about pedophilia has rolled down that shitty hill. Homosexuality has rolled down that shitty hill. Adultery has rolled down that shitty hill. Fornication has rolled down that shitty hill. Rape and molestation has rolled down that shitty hill. The tradition continues because it's been a long line of corruption and deception. This is where we at. We've been fooled. Somebody sold us out. And we've been looking like a bunch of suckers. Yes, we are. Because this is the only way they could get you, by fooling you. They got to send spies and have you being infiltrated, tape you, videotape you, camera you, set you up, decoys. That's the only way they could get you. So you got to be paying attention, man. So for me to honor a person or to honor a cause that I have come to realize has crippled my whole entire culture, that would be the similitude of kicking myself in the ass. Now, I play many games, but kicking myself in the ass is one game I just don't play. Partner, we need to stop. For real. We need to stop. We doing too much. We doing way, way too much, and we ain't thinking and paying attention. But we need to stop standing and fighting for and honoring and celebrating anything or anyone from the past. Okay? That has proven to be a sellout, a traitor, a crossover, or someone who has proven to be an enemy of the culture or the movement. We got to stop standing on that BS. We got to stop fighting and honoring and celebrating that cause, because it ain't did nothing for us but give a whole nother group of people the initiative to laugh at us because we're honoring someone who kicked us in the ass. How stupid can you be? What we need to do is start standing on, enjoying, and celebrating the historical times that we live in now for the future. This is what we got to do. We got to get rid of all of that. And we got to start standing on, honoring, celebrating, and fighting for the future that we're living in now. And we need to start being very, very, very grateful for the blessing that has been bestowed upon us by living in the greatest nation in the world, America. Salud! I'm out of here.